All right, this is episode 5, Indigo's Corner. Today we have special guests with us, Loose Nod, Don Soul, Donnie Zell. He has a lot of aliases. What's up,
Many,
man?
many, many. What's good, fam? What's good?
Not much, not much. How you doing today, bro?
Pretty good.
Word, word. Appreciate you coming on the show. Got to get the vibes going.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
like I always do, we're gonna start from the jump, man. Um, Music. When did it start for you?
When did it start for me? Damn, can you hear the dog?
Yeah, I heard that.
Wow, dude, my bad. You gotta forgive.
Oh no, you
Yeah,
straight understand.
that's the fuck. Yeah. But music when it started, it was like high school, maybe like 10th grade.
Mhm.
Really, I just did it because my homies did it. I was just really on some childish shit. Just I was a class clown coming up and shit.
Mhm.
And so I was just spitting to disrupt and shit, you feel me? So it wasn't nothing serious until I fucking graduated and
Mhm.
got to college and met like Julian and them boys, you feel me?
Mhm.
Because I was already doing it and I was saying that I wanted to do it and shit, but it wasn't until I met those boys where it was like, yeah, I think this is something that I can really do type of shit, you know?
Okay, so before that, what was your like? I guess like your hobbies or things you did.
Coming up, I did a lot of reading.
Mhm.
Like up until like ninth grade in high school, like I did nothing but read books. Like my favorite place to be on the weekends and shit was the public library, like Barnes and Noble, Books a Million. Like my aunt used to take me. I used to go with my cousin and shit. All I used to do was really read. Um, and then like when I got in high school, I met my homies and shit, and I got into ROTC, and I was heavy in ROTC. And for the longest, I wanted to join the military,
Mhm.
and then ROTC kind of turned me from that. And then and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna be the next tech mogul. You feel me? And so when I graduated and this shit, I went into college with a double major in computer science and engineering and shit. You
Oh
feel me?
hell.
Yeah. So yeah, I was all over the place. You feel me? Like all over the place.
So a lot of people do know you for your music. I'm not sure if a lot of people know, but you can draw like really, really good. I've seen a couple of your little sketches and everything like that. I think you draw really well. Why was that never like a career choice for you? Is it just like a side note, like a hobby?
Um, I'm real particular about like the shit that I do. Like I feel like you may relate because you're also a Virgo, but like I'm a perfectionist and like
Mhm.
coming up, my dad's a tattoo artist. I don't know if a lot of people know that about me and shit, you feel me? But I'm not originally from South Carolina. I came from Oklahoma and shit. And my dad's a tattoo artist based out there and shit. And so coming up and shit, like I every now and then I draw, and then like I like when I was younger, I used to draw pictures and send them off to my dad and shit like that. You feel me? And whenever I draw something I was really proud of it, I'd like take a picture and send it to my dad and shit like that. But like coming up, just like hearing him talk about like his childhood and shit like that, I couldn't help but compare myself to him where he
Mhm.
was when he was at my age and shit. And so like I never really took it serious. I never took any art classes or anything like that. You feel me? So everything that like I know how to do and everything I do is pretty much self-taught. I never took an art class until like my senior year in high school and shit. You feel me? But
Mhm.
yeah, it was just I'm real hard on myself, and it's just I don't like the learning process. And so like every now and then I'll draw some shit, like I'll fuck around and do my own cover art and whatnot. You feel me? But I don't know. It's just I don't like looking at my art. I don't like looking at it. I don't like I have an image in my head, and then I'll try to draw this shit, and then it'll be like, I'm like, ew, that's nasty. I'm good. I'm good. No, thank you.
So did you ever think about like following his footsteps, being a tattoo artist? Did it ever like cross your mind at all?
Often, like often, I hate fucking working, bro, and like I hate working and shit. And like whenever like he's been wanting to like put me on and like teach me the ways and shit. You feel
Mhm.
me? But like I said, I'm real particular, and like tattoos are permanent, and like I ain't trying to fuck nobody up. People be walking around with some funky looking tattoos and shit. You
Yeah.
feel me? So like I ain't trying to do that to nobody or anything like that. But like every now and then when it's like, damn, I hate this job and shit, I'd be like, I could do one tattoo and come off like $300. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, every now and then I do think about it and shit, and I do consider it. And it is something that I would like at least like to try and shit, like get a tattoo gun and like get a little practice skin or some shit and try it out at least. You feel me? But yeah.
I think it's one hell of a scary job because like I can just imagine like I'm tattooing somebody and like sneeze and like fuck up a line. Like that's like I just couldn't do it. That's too much responsibility for somebody. Cause like you said, it's permanent.
Yeah.
So when you get you meet up with the homies, everybody's at Coastal Carolina at the beach. You go into college. I know you said you went for computer engineering, but did you think and engineering, but did you ever think about changing to like a more of a music type of degree, or you was just like, let's get this bag, let's rap?
Like coming up, I never really considered like music as like a career, as like a career path and shit like that. It wasn't until like I decided to drop out of college where I was like, all right, music is what I want to do and shit. You feel me? So like switching majors, not really. Like even now, whenever I like play around with the idea of like going back, like the first thought is like computer science. You feel me? Or something like that. You feel me? Because I've always like I came up watching and just reading and loving fucking sci-fi and shit or whatnot. And then like I like a lot of the ideas I had like as a youngin' and as a tyke and shit, you feel me? I'm actually seeing actually coming to like fruition and actually happening and shit like that. You feel me? And so like it's always something. It's always a thing to like the thought of being a part of that, like of that progression in history and shit like that, you feel me? But and then sometimes whenever I play around with the idea of going back to school and shit, it's like maybe I'll go for graphic design or engineering or whatnot, you feel me? Because I did a bit of that on the side and shit. And so yeah, I don't know. Not really, not when I was in school. The idea of switching majors, the idea never occurred and shit like that. Not when I was in school, not.
Okay, word. So I know you said when you first started making music, it was like you just playing around and stuff like that. But when you actually like started taking it serious, like who was your like influence? Like somebody like you always had in the back of your head when you first started like actually like spitting and making good music.
When I first started making music and shit, like I was big on Earl Sweatshirt and shit. Coming up, my music taste was like mad diverse and different and shit. Cause I didn't come up in hip hop and rap and shit. You feel me? Like I came up in a mad strict Christian household and shit like that. So it was a lot of gospel and shit. And then from that to pop, and then from that to rap hop, to hip hop and rap and shit like that. But so like coming up and shit, like I loved Eminem and shit. But when I actually started writing and like taking it serious, Earl was a big influence. And then from there, like even now it'd be all over the place. It'd be yeah,
so has your influence changed like now versus back then, or is it still just like you said, just all over the place?
It's expanded. I wouldn't say changed, like I make a different type of music and shit like that. It's expanded more. I'm getting comfortable with the things that I'm willing to try and put out and shit like that. But like Earl still comes to mind whenever I'm writing and shit like that. But it just like the list is just like it's only grown and shit like that. Yeah. You feel me? It's like I haven't gone back on anything or regret anything that I've ever done or anything like that. You feel me? It's just it's always growth.
Okay. So you down there at the beach. I mean, Got stories on top of stories on top of stories that we can talk about for hours on hours.
Boy.
Man, how was just living down there, man? How was it? Just describe it to the people, man.
It was wild because it was weird for me because like I was there and then I wasn't and then I was there again. So I was there in the beginning before before like the niggas actually started linking up and shit like that. And then I came back when like niggas was comfortable with each other and shit like that. But like each time it was always an experience. It was always like the best time of my life. Like thinking back and shit. Like I mention it always in my music and shit. Like I miss my homies and shit. You feel me? Like I miss y'all boys so much and shit. You feel me? Like because it was even though shit was hard and shit. You feel me? And we had like our bad times and shit like that. It was most definitely always the best time of my life and shit. You feel me? Like we was just always on the move, bro. We was just always finding something to get into, bro. Like we wasn't doing shit. Had no responsibilities and shit. This was before niggas had kids and shit. You feel me? We was just moving, bro. We was just getting shit. We was just out there. We was outside, bro.
I tell people this all the time when they ask me, how was it like living at the beach? I said, I remember one night, it was like the whole crew was in the apartment. And like, for some reason, I had a shot of 1800 in my hand and a cup of wine in my hand. We were taking shots of 1800 and chasing it with wine. And I just remember looking at you and Rocky, and I was like, bro, why are we doing this? Like, what is the point of this?
Bro, we used to just be doing shit just to do shit, bro.
It was just, bro. And that was just like a casual Tuesday, like in the apartment.
Yeah.
That was just, it was nothing
special.
Yeah.
Be like, what y'all got going on today? Nothing, but like y'all try to take some shots. What's up? Like, why not?
It'll be that was wild. That was wild. So with being around everybody, and we all had like this one big think tank, I would like to say, of like everybody's thoughts and opinions of music. Did that also play a big role in like your I want to say your growth as an artist?
Oh yes, for sure. Like I wouldn't be where I am now without like meeting my niggas and shit like that. You feel me? Like I was trash when I started this shit. I was really bad and shit like that. But like the fact that like my niggas would never tell me that I was trash or whatnot, but they would like, I don't think this was it, but I don't think this was it, fam. You feel me? Or like just the criticism when it was needed and the support when it was needed and shit like that. You feel me? And just like being around like-minded people or whatnot, it just does a thing where it just naturally you grow. You feel me? Just it's like you're a plant in your ideal environment and shit. You feel me? It's just pure nourishment and shit like that. You feel me? So like I said, we had our hard times and shit like that. You feel me? But I would not be musically where I am now if I didn't like have the time that I had with y'all boys and shit like that. You feel me? Like just doing the shit. You feel me? Where it was like nothing but music and shit. You feel me? Even when we wasn't doing music and shit, that's all we really cared about and shit.
Yeah. Now getting into that bag a little bit more. I know you can see like a lot of athletes, actors, and stuff getting into the bag of like mental disorders and like just being there mentally for people. I believe the next stage is the hip hop industry that's going to try to dip into that, which I think they should. Just talk about that. What you think as far as like mental health awareness in the music industry, because that's something that's not that much talked about.
Yeah, that's like actually a really big, like important thing for me and shit, because it's something that I struggle with personally. Yeah, for the longest and shit, it was just about being like the hardest nigga out there and shit. You feel me? Just like I don't know. You feel me? I didn't get it, and I kind of still don't and shit. You feel me? And so that's kind of why I didn't necessarily gravitate towards like hip hop and shit around that time and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But like it started to change and shit, where like it was where I feel like it was like a variation of like conscious rap and shit like that, where it's just like people are just willing to be more aware and upfront with the shit that they struggle with and shit like with. Because like me personally, not a lot of people know and shit. Like I personally got committed to a psychological hospital or shit, or a psychological ward and shit for like a week, 7 days and shit, because I had a psychotic break and shit, and I got diagnosed as bipolar. And like a lot of my music and shit, I feel like touches on it, even if it's like a loose metaphor and shit like that. You feel me? You may have to act, like actually like sit down and listen to it and like dissect the shit. It is important because like, especially in the Black community and shit, we come up, a lot of people come up just thinking like, even when it comes to like therapy and shit like that, it's like that's white people and shit or whatnot, or it's like just, you know, just brush it off and shit. You feel me? Everybody go through hard shit. You feel me? It's nothing to really worry about and shit like that. Like shit be hard, bro. Like
yeah,
on a regular, bro. Like
yeah.
I know you can relate and shit. It's just like
Most definitely.
whether it's personal, and it's always personal shit like that. You feel me? But whether it's just like everyday shit that everybody can like relate to, or if it's just like personal shit where it's like just like your personal story shit, you feel me? Like everybody has some shit that they're going through, and I feel like it's important to talk and to build a community of people that like can relate, because that's one thing that I gained from like being fucking committed and shit, is like being around people that like were also going through the same shit, you feel me, and realizing that they ain't crazy and shit, and that we not crazy or whatnot. It's just we different and shit, and it be hard sometimes, you feel me?
Yeah,
Like
most
it's important.
definitely. Most
That
definitely.
important.
Because I think now, like you said, it used to be about like who's the hardest dude, who can fight, all that. But now I think it's cool to like, you know, come to your boys and be like, yo, I'm depressed. Like I'm going through it. I think that's something real, real important. I feel like the music industry needs to go towards. And I feel like it's going to start, like you said, through conscious rap. So where do you categorize yourself? Are you a conscious rapper? You a crunk rapper? Trapping? What do you categorize yourself as?
Man, I don't even know. I question that shit on a regular. I just be out here having fun, bro.
Uh-huh.
Like I would if people were categorized me, I would say they were more likely put me in the conscious rap category type shit, just based off of my subject matter and shit like that. But just like the way I try to make my shit bump or whatnot, you feel me? Like I try to make my shit bang or whatnot, you feel me? So I don't know. I feel like I fall into like a category that like maybe doesn't necessarily have a word for it or a title just yet and shit, you feel me? But it's hip hop, it's rap. I sing sometimes, you feel me? Like sometimes I do soul, sometimes I do pop, sometimes I do like pure hip hop, you feel me? It's like
Whatever backpack you got on.
exactly, you feel me? I be deep in my bag, boy. I be like, shit, let me see what I got in here right quick. You feel me? Because I know I packed something. Oh yeah, bro.
So a lot of people now who listen to you now, probably newer listeners, don't know you were formerly Don Soul, which is Loose Nod backwards. So what made you
Yes,
make
sir.
the change?
Honestly, I didn't want to. When I started, like when I made the decision, like, all right, it's time for me like do the research and like try to figure out how to actually upload my music on the streaming platforms.
Mm-hmm.
There was another artist that went by the name Don Soul, and it had been like a year or some shit, like a year and some change since he had uploaded anything.
Uh-huh.
But like I didn't feel I'm mad lazy. Like I'm very, very like lazy and shit. And I didn't feel like going through the loopholes or like hitting them up and trying to get a name change or anything like that. So I was like, I hit up my niggas in a fucking group chat DM and shit. I was like, hey, y'all boys, I'm thinking about changing my name and shit. So like, what should I change it to? And they gave me some suggestions and shit. I heard like Don Soul 2, fucking like Don Soul and shit. You feel me? And I was like, nah, I don't think I'm really feeling those, y'all boys. But I was like, I fuck with the idea of like not changing my name. You feel me? Like keep like changing my name, but keeping it my name and shit. So I was like, what if I like flip it or some shit? What if I At first, I wanted to do like, I forget what the word is called, whatnot, but where you use the same letters and shit from the word or the name, but they spell something else. So, kind of like Lord Voldemort, but you know how that shit went. But I flipped it backwards and shit, and I was like, all right, how would I pronounce this? Because I got Nod and shit.
That was
Nod
my
is
next
a word.
question. That was my next question.
So how do I pronounce this? And I was like, loose. It could be loose. Why not? You feel me? Like, I'm black. I say what I want. You feel me? I make my own words. You feel me? It is what I say it is. What splash? You feel me, nigga? That's magic.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. The first time I played your music around my girl and it came up, she was like, "How you pronounce it?" I was like, "Loose Nine." And she looked at it. She said, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, that's what he said. I think so." I said, "I wonder if he really said that on the first go round."
Hey, it's Loose Nine, my nigga. And it's like a loose knot, you feel me? I'm a vibe. You feel me? It's loose knot. We gonna take it, you feel me?
Hey, I feel you're right, bro. So my next question for you: when was your I want to say oh shit moment? When was your like you recorded something and you play? You was like, oh shit, like I'm really out there. Like when was your first like oh shit moment?
I've always fucked with my music, like my lyrics. Maybe not my music, like how I like go in and execute the shit, but I've always fucked with my lyrics. But I can for sure say that when I made like Bills Paid, you feel me? I was like, I fuck with this, you feel me? Like, I was like, when I listened to the shit for like a week and a half straight, you feel me? Where it was literally like the only song I listened to. I was like, I fuck with this. Like, yeah.
it did definitely make you make that face.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay. Oh. So it's different, but like, okay. Yeah. Hell yeah.
So while you were at the beach, you also, I know you worked at the studio down there. Just talk about how that like helped you, because sometimes, you know, building the engine to help you drive a car. So how did that help you like progress as an artist?
Bro, that shit helped so much. Like, I keep to myself. Like, if you catch me on like somebody else's fucking page, you feel me? You catch a clip of me, or you catch me fucking like on stage performing and shit like that. I may come up, or even in business mode, where I'll just come up to you and speak to you like that. I typically keep myself and shit like that. You feel me? So like, even getting the opportunity was just like, it was lit, you feel me? Because like I had been thinking about it for a while, like just reaching out to like my engineer DC at Jam City Studios, you feel me, in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You feel me? Shout out to Jam City Studios, the best goddamn studio in South Carolina. You feel me?
Shout out to him.
Hell yeah, fucking like I have been playing around with the idea for like a few weeks and shit. And I had even hit up my cousin and shit, who had been talking about being my manager at the time and shit. And I was like, I'm thinking about like hitting up my engineer and seeing if I could get like a interning like situation or something like that. Cause like I said, I hate that working shit, you feel me? But nigga be out there working and shit and like paying for studio time, that shit add up. And how I work in the studio and shit, I do like a lot of experimenting, especially in the beginning and shit where I was trying to figure my shit out. Like I spent time on songs and shit, songs that people won't ever even fucking hear and shit, you feel me? I spent fucking bread on those shits, you feel me? So I was like, I've been playing around with the idea. I was like, I want to reach out to old dude and see if there is any opportunity that I get where I could work for like studio time and shit like that. And then my sister had hit me up and she was talking about moving from the beach and shit like that. And I was like, damn, I really got to get on this shit. So I had finally just said, fuck it. And I hit him up and asked him if he'll be willing to like work with me or whatnot, where I could like maybe work at the studio and shit, you feel me, get some basics on recording and shit like that. And in exchange for like studio time, for recording time and shit like that. I didn't care about getting paid or anything like that. I was willing to be there whenever he needed me and shit like that, as long as it's like whenever like I hit him up like, yo, I need to hit the booth for a bit, as long as he was willing to do that or whatnot. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh shit. And just from there and shit, like I learned the basics of just like mixing my own shit. Like I don't have my own setup now and shit. Eventually I want to get that shit. But like from just learning the basics of mixing my shit to like learning the importance of like getting your an idea across to another person, like explaining a sound. Like how do you explain a sound? Like if you ever thought about it, how do you explain a color to a person? You feel me? Like how do you explain a sound or shit? You feel me? Like an idea, that something that's literally just a concept to you, and figuring out how to convey that to another person to try to get it to the closest that you can get it to outside of you doing it yourself and shit. Like, and figuring that shit out, getting like keywords and shit like that to like, it cuts down like your studio time and shit. Cause eventually I did move and shit. And so I don't work there anymore, but that's still the only studio I hit up and shit. You feel me? But now I don't spend 3 hours on one song. You feel me? I can go in and finish a song in like fucking 45 minutes and shit. You feel me? And be satisfied and shit. You feel me? So I learned a lot from there and shit. You feel me? Outside, and also like working with other artists, and just like the fact that I'll have to deal with other niggas' personalities and shit like that. You feel me? Like I learned a lot. Like like it was a short time, but it was a good time for sure. Like hell yeah.
Right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Do you think you'll ever get into your producing bag, like making beats and stuff like that?
I do eventually want to make my own beats. I doubt I'll ever like open up like my own studio and record other people, because I don't have it in me to like record trash niggas just for money, or fucking
straight up
deal with niggas' attitudes for money and shit like that. You feel me? Like, nah, I'm good off that. Like, but I do eventually I want to get like to the purest shit. You feel me? Like making like everything I do is my own and shit. You feel me? Like, yeah, one day. Yeah.
And talk about your progression as a performer, man, because I don't know if you remember, we went to, I forgot what that was, with Theo, the little church thing, and it was my go and perform. I don't think you might not have came with this, but the beat drop, I was down my head, I sung my hook, it was time for the verse, and I completely forgot everything. Went blank. Like that was my first performance, and I couldn't remember anything. I don't know what the hell happened. Niggas in this crowd saying, "Bro, just freestyle." I was like, "All right." But just talk about that, like your growth as a performer, man.
Yeah. Shit, performing, bro. Like the first song I ever recorded with fucking Rocky, A Sage and shit. You feel me? I still got that shit on SoundCloud. You feel me? You find it, look up Don Soul. You feel me? Search through the rabbit hole and shit. You find that true story shit. You feel me? Like that was the first time I ever went on stage, bro, and like not recorded, but like performed in front of people, bro. That shit was terrible. It was horrible. Like even the like cover picture for the song was a picture of us on stage and shit. You feel me? And that shit was so bad, bro. Like I had my hood on and shit, because I told you I was on my Earl sweatshirt shit. You feel me? Grimming just came out and shit. Or what was it, Grim? Yeah. And fucking I was on that, like I said, first time ever recording. I'm on the fucking stage and shit. Song is fucking horrible. I'm going through this shit. I hear people in the crowd, "I can't hear you. What? Speak up." I was like, man, fuck it. I took my hood off. There was a piano bench. I sat on the piano bench and I was like, but like, and I just finished the shit, bro. I was like, fuck it. But even from that, like that very first terrible like performance and shit, like we were in fucking Sino and shit at Coastal and shit, and I was like, bro, I want to do it again. Like it was bad, but like I want to do it again. And like I don't have that much experience like being in front of people, and then, like I've been trying to do better as of recently and shit, as of late and shit. Like these past couple weeks, I've been in front of people more than I have in the past couple years and shit, and I feel I'm proud of myself for doing that shit. You feel me? Because like it ain't easy for me to do that and shit, because I don't really like the spotlight being on me. Like I enjoy it because it like I feel comfortable being myself, because I know when people are looking at me, like that's what they're expecting and shit like that. But I don't really like that shit, because like you're on the spot and shit like that. But every like my first like three performances, which were like, or maybe even 4 performances, which were like everything before this year, I was not satisfied with anything that I did. You feel me? But every time I came off the stage, and like even the people that I was talking to and shit, I may have been like a fucking sourpuss and shit. You feel me? A Debbie Downer and shit. You feel me? It's like, yeah, bro. Like I wasn't really feeling that. Everybody high energy and shit. Like, yeah, bro. That shit was lit. Like, yeah, just excited about the shit. Like, never satisfied and shit like that. Even though that was my like mindset and shit like that. I also always kept it in mind. Like, I gotta do it again and shit. Like, all right, it wasn't good enough and shit, but this, that, and this, you feel me, is what I need to work on and shit. You feel me? Like next time whenever it may be and shit, whatever opportunity I may get and shit, this is what I want to fucking work on next time and shit. You feel me? And so each time I just try to go through and have that fucking mindset, and like it actually like it helped. Like there's actual like noticeable progress, and like you can see the difference and shit like that, and like I actually notice the difference and shit like that, and so it helps, and I fuck with it and shit. You feel me?
So like, what's your like, I guess I want to say end game goal, like as an artist? Like you want to start your own label? Like what's your end game goal?
Man, I want to do everything. Like I always got into the music shit with like the idea that like it's just a doorway. You feel me? Because like I said, coming up, I never thought of like music as like a career path and shit like that. But when I finally did start to consider like maybe this is something that I could do, I also started considering other artistic avenues that I could take and other interests that I had and shit. You feel me? But music was just like the easiest thing that for me to pick up on, and like where I was actually enjoying like the work and peeping the progress and shit like that. But like I want to get into acting. I want to write. I want to direct shit. You feel me? I want to make a comic book. I want to make a fucking actual book and shit like that. There's a lot of shit that I want to do and shit. You feel me? But it'll all come in within its own time and shit like that, because the way my mental is set up, I can only do like so much at a time and shit. But that's like, I want to get into a lot of shit, bro. Like, yeah, that creative shit, that's my shit. You feel me? That's all I want to do, bro. Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's dope. Well, that concludes all of the questions I have for you. But every episode, I do a 3x3x3. With that, I'm gonna give you 3 different things, and I need your top 3 for each category.
I was looking forward to this. Let's get it.
I bet. What's your top 3 books you ever read?
Damn. Top 3 books. I wasn't ready for that. I was ready for the restaurants. I was like, boom, I got my top 3 restaurants right now. Top 3 books. All right, I fuck with that. That personal. Yeah. Top 3 books. All right, I'm gonna go with the first book series I ever fucking fell in love with. I gotta fucking mad respect to that one, which is a series of unfortunate events. That's the fucking book series that like where I fell in love with reading this shit. 3rd grade, you feel me? Miss Lafitte, fucking Forest Lake. I remember all that shit. I probably shouldn't be putting names out there like that. You feel me? But like, boom. There's a reason for that. You feel me? Series of unfortunate events. Then you got to go to Harry Potter, because like it was just such a big part of childhood and shit like that. Even through childhood, it carried on through like early adulthood and shit like that with the movies and shit. And like keeping up with like book series and shit like that, it was something that I did like when I was coming up and shit like that. So just being a part of it, and then like it ending, and then just seeing like J.K. Rowling coming out with other fucking series and shit like that, and it never even crossed my mind that she could do some shit like that. I was, damn, that's crazy. And then like the third series, I'm not going to say a series, but I'm going to say a author, which is Rick Riordan, who did Percy Jackson and Olympians. You feel me? Because he got the Chronicles of Cain, and then he got the fucking he got the one with the Roman demigods and shit like that. You feel me? But I fuck with my Greek mythology and shit like that, and coming up with those, like, yeah, they were big on that. You feel me? Damn, I got another series. Look,
all right. Now I need your top 3 places to eat at the beach.
Boom! Oh, at the beach. At the beach. All right. Loophole. Cause I used to stay at the beach. All right, so first place, I'm gonna say my sister crib. When we stayed at the beach, you feel me? My sister, you feel me?
Okay, yeah.
Throw down and shit, you feel me? So like wherever she go, you feel me? I go. Wherever we at, you feel me? We eating. And so when we was at the beach, that was the spot to be and shit. Second, I never really left the house and shit. You feel me? Like even when we was out and about, like you know me, I don't leave the crib. You feel me? So like second, I'm gonna say like Shayla's spot. You feel me? Because they was always throwing down and shit. You feel me? So shout out to Shayla and Ty for always like feeding the homies and shit. And then I'm gonna say fucking Cracker Barrel because I fucking worked there and shit. So I was always getting the fucking free grub, and that's it.
Bro, true story. I remember a girl laugh all the time. I said, bro, when Nate put me on that job, we used to be in the back whipping everything up and eating like
bro, I'm snacking on everything bro. I'd be damned if I starve and I work at a restaurant, bro. You gonna feed me, goddamn it.
Bro, I think my second day, I saw you like roll up a pancake and dip that.
I'm eating, nigga. I am eating.
Your last category, I need your top 3 animes.
Top 3 anime
of all time. Your top 3.
All right, all time. At the top, I'm gonna put Soul Eater. You feel me? Okay, I'm gonna put Soul Eater at the top because you know, partially part of the name Don Soul, it partially came from like Soul Eater and the main character, one of the main characters, Soul, and partially like Ab Soul and shit. You feel me? I fuck with the term Soul. So Soul Eater, My Hero Academia, because you know I fuck with my superheroes and shit like that. And so the match of superheroes and then like the Japanese shit and whatnot, it was mind-boggling, and I still fuck with that shit. You feel me? Mm-hmm. And then number 3, oh, that's a little harder because like I watch anime and shit like that. You feel me? Sometimes shit just be like mad generic and shit like that.
And you about to say something, then you're gonna think about it 10 minutes later, be like, damn, I should have said that.
Right, exactly. And I don't want to do that. You feel me? I don't want to be caught in that situation. You feel me? So it gotta be right. It gotta be perfect and shit. And then I don't want to do no. I'm gonna say Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a solid. Yeah, that's solid. That's a solid top 3. That's solid. Well, that concludes episode 5, Indigo's Corner, featuring Loose Nod. The floor is yours. Let the people know what you got going on. Anything you want to promote, everything like that. You got it, bro.
Currently working on a project. Don't know a date, but we got a title. It is Letters to Whom It May Concern and shit. You feel me? I've been steadily clues bomb, drop a clues bomb. You feel me? All that shit. You feel me? Like, but I've been like steadily like dropping singles and shit. I got like one more single that's going to actually be on the project that I may drop and shit. But like I think I'm on the cusp on the cover art for that and shit. So it's like it's mad close to being released, and I'm on this weird promo thing and shit like that. So I doubt I'll really do any promo before I actually drop it and shit. So if you catch it and shit, you on to some shit or whatnot, because you caught some gold and shit. But you can catch me on the fucking social medias on Instagram at Loose Nod, LUOS _NOD. You can catch me on Twitter at Loose Nod, which is LUOS _NOD. If you're in the South Carolina area and shit, and you happen to find yourself in Florence on a Sunday, me and my homie, we like to frequent a open mic that they have at Absalom Hookah Lounge the first 3 Sundays of every month and shit like that. You feel me? But they've been doing it a little more frequently and shit like that. So you maybe catch me on 4 Sundays, every 4 Sunday. You feel me? But besides that, yeah, you feel me? Catch me while I'm at work. If you don't catch me at work, catch me at a show. And if you don't catch me at that, then like you miss me because I'm at the crib. I'm inside. I'm home. So hit me up on social media, Instagram preferably. And yeah.
And again, that's LUOS DOE. No, NOD. Damn, I fucked up. I fucked up.
close.
That's
Like,
LUOSNOT.
hey, there we go.
Word, man. I appreciate you coming on the show, man. It means a lot, bro. You know your family, man.
Hey, I appreciate you having me, Tom.
Word.